Hi guys, Chris here from USP Motorsports. Today we're going to be doing an install video on SKU number 3933, available on uspmotorsports.com, which is an MK6 Jetta hood strut kit. Now this kit's awesome because it allows you to remove your normal hood pop and it allows the hood to open freely and no longer have to hold the pop, so it kind of cleans up your engine bay. So what comes in this kit is the specialized USP Motorsports hood strut. It comes with the bracket, this L bracket that attaches to the hood, this Z bracket, which is going to attach to the fender. Then you have a couple different ball pin adapters. These are your 8mm self-tap screws. And of course, we have some washers and some nuts. The required tools for this install, any kind of 1/4" or drill, because you're going to need to put the self-taps in using an 8mm, a 13mm open-end wrench. We have a 3/8 ratchet, also a 13mm socket, a 10mm socket, and as well as that 8mm socket that's going to go onto this 1/4" so we can drill in those self-taps. So let's go ahead over to the car and let's start this install. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're installing this hood strut kit, is we're going to take our Z bracket and we're going to locate our small ball pin adapter. We're going to go ahead and assemble. This is the only thing we're going to be able to assemble off the car. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. Now there's 3 nuts, 3 13mm nuts, if you can see here. There's 2 thin ones and then a little bit of a thicker one. So this is one that's going to get our thin nut. Okay, so once we go ahead and tighten that up there using our 13mm ratchet on one side and a wrench on the other side. All right, so once we get that tight, we're going to go ahead over to the car and we're going to go ahead and install this bracket. So this bracket is going to actually end up using one of the factory 10mm bolts here. And then the other 2 holes are where the 8mm self-taps are going to go into the top of the fender. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove, while we're here, we're going to remove 2 bolts. We're going to move that 10mm right there out of the way. Okay. Once we get that, we can put that to the side. And we're also going to remove this 13mm. Now, keep in mind you have 2 nuts on your hood here to secure your hood. It's very important that this goes to the correct bolt. This is going to be located on the lower nut. I can't emphasize that enough, the lower nut. If you ended up putting it on the top nut, you could have some serious hood failure. So make sure it goes to the lower nut. So once I remove that, I'm going to go ahead and put this nut off to the side as well. And I'll go back to installing this. Bracket here. So now, once you go ahead and put this bracket on, you'll notice that when you go to line it up, sometimes it could be just a tad bit off from this hole here. So some cars I've seen where this bracket sticks out a little bit further than others. So simply take a pair of pliers, and you could just bend this down just a tab here. This little ear that's you can see in there. I'm going to go ahead and give this a little love tap here, just to go ahead and take this ear to bend it down. There you go. And that way the tab is sticking downwards. Now this will be able to go on and install flush in there. So what you want to do is take your factory bolt that was there, go ahead and replace it back on there. Tighten that down with your 10mm. And now once you do that, the bracket should be sitting pretty flush to the fender, if you can see here. And then once you attach the self-taps, it'll pull it down even more and give it some stability. Now while you're here, something else important as well. You'll see that there's the plastic your cover for for your wiper motor and stuff like that. What you want to do is take this and lift it up, and if you see these tabs here, this is actually going to be shifted to the other side. That way it gives your hood strut there a little bit extra room. So all you're going to do is take these tabs and push them, and just push them to the other side and put it right back down. So that way you just have a nice little clear path here for your hood strut to sit in. So once we have this on, we're going to take something, any kind of drill that's electric. I have this nice little drill here that I can put an 8mm on, and we're going to go ahead and put these self-taps into the fender right here. Okay, and this is just giving this bracket a little more stability and picking up that heavy hood. Okay, so once we got those in there, we'll go ahead and just give those a little hand tight here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and take our L bracket and we're going to go ahead and install this on our hood. So this is going to get one of the thicker 13 millimeter nuts. So make sure when you install this, this goes this way here. The rest of the bracket, the rest of the items that go on the bracket will come through here. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this on there. And what I want to do is I'll just line it up by eye and make sure the bracket is straight. So this is the 13 millimeter right here. Okay, so once I know this bracket, I'll just go ahead and line it up by eye. I know it's straight. I'll go ahead and give it a nice little tightening there and it should stay in place. Okay, so once I got that bracket where I want, so I have my bracket there mounted. This bracket is mounted. I'm gonna go ahead and take my long ball pin adapter, our spacer, and also our thinner nut, and we're gonna go ahead and install this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the spacer, install it onto the long ball pin adapter, go ahead and drop it over here, and go ahead and tighten this with a 13 millimeter. So you could, this is where that opening wrench comes in handy as well. You go ahead and hold one side with a 13 and go ahead and tighten the other side. Okay, so once we got our two brackets installed on the fender and one on the hood in the proper straight positions, we're gonna go ahead and install our USP hood strut. Now the fat part is gonna go towards the fender side, thin part up to the top. So there is these little clips, if you can see here, that slide in to this track here and goes up to the top into there. And then this goes ahead and just wraps around. So right now I have the clips out. I'm gonna go ahead and install the bottom side first, snaking it in there, pull it so it make sure you hear it click. I'm gonna go ahead and install this first little clip here. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and rest this here. I'm gonna go ahead and undo the hood so it gives me a little bit of room. And I'm gonna simply just go ahead and click this on. Okay, once I know that's clicked on, the hood's holding up, I'm gonna go ahead and take this other clip, put it into that track, and lock it in place like so. Okay, so you're pretty much done with your install at this point, besides just double checking everything works. Make sure that this wire doesn't end up getting jammed. Sometimes it can if you don't just make sure you kind of try to put it off to the side, make sure it's not getting jammed up in there. So we're gonna go ahead, and first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to the hood and we're gonna give it a few small tugs just to make sure we're not putting any pressure, that nothing's binding up, to double check that your install was done right. So if we're gonna go ahead and just close it, right now I don't feel any kind of binding. So I'm gonna just slowly lower it, don't feel any binding. Make sure close is fine, pops open, and does stay in place. If it does that, then you know you installed your hood strut kit 100% correctly. So one other thing you could do to really clean up your engine bay is now you can remove this pesky rod that makes your car look like an old 90s car here. So go ahead and just wiggle this out, and this rod will come out, and you can store in this garage when you go ahead and sell or trade your car in. If you really want to take another step to actually clean up the engine bay, you can take a flathead screwdriver and you can actually pop out this little yellow clip here that holds the factory hood rod. Other than that, your install is done. It looks great, it functions. Go ahead and close it. Closes nice. So if you want to install this hood kit, this is going to take you about 20 minutes for anybody with basic hand tools. So as you can see, I did it in probably 10 minutes or so, but I've done it obviously a few times. So if you guys are happy watching these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to see some more cool, fun install videos like this. Thanks for watching.